This chart looks bullish, and that's exactly the problem. Axie Infinity, or the AXS token, is one of the best performing assets in the last week. And in this video, we are going to shine a light on why the price is going up and how much longer this rally might last. Because while there are positive news, for example, the improvement of tokenomics, to reduce automated bot farming of the related SLP token. Truth is that after the initial growth phase of Axie Infinity, the tokenomics took over and AXS tended to underperform the rest of the altcoin market. This is a very long-term chart of Axie Infinity relative to the altcoin market cap. The price peaked in October of 2021 and then it literally made a dump of 99%. And yes, the recent rally is definitely a change in tone. But again, this change was only able to happen after a 99% drop, after we've already seen all the early investors, the team, the insiders cashing out. What you see here, that's a circulating supply of AXS over time. Of course, users of the game tended to get more and more tokens, but there was also staking rewards. There was also tokens that went to the advisors, the early investors, etc. And so that's a fundamental problem with crypto games. Usually a game is just played for fun. Once we introduce money to the equation, the fundamental motivation of using even a well-designed game can go down very quickly. Axie Infinity is still used. So this is the fees that are generated over time, measured in US dollars. It's a few $1,000s every day. And while this did go down somewhat since beginning of the year, there is still some activity. You might remember there was a huge hack in decentralized finance for the Ronin bridge. Now the Ronin bridge was used to funnel money from various blockchains to the Axie Infinity ecosystem. And because of that hack, the TVL went from 1.5 billion down to 300 million. And the ecosystem could never really recover from that shock. Now Ronin has only a TVL of 18 million. So that's also a drop of 99%. Very comparable to how the AXS token underperformed the rest of crypto. But this slight improvement of tokenomics, a slight reduction of additional tokens that hit the market through automated bot farming, is that really the reason for a rally like this? Because really, that rally did not start with the announcement of the SLP emissions change. That was done on January 7th, so that's now 9 days ago. So here was the announcement, and then it took another 5 to 6 days for the price to catch up. What I think is going on here is that enough people had been betting on falling prices of Axie Infinity for the market makers to start manipulating the price. If there are enough bets on falling prices of something, then it might be profitable to just buy up a lot of the supply to short squeeze all of those people that are betting on falling prices. Have a look at the trading volume. In the last 24 hours, we saw more than 400 million worth of trading volume on the spot market. But compare this to the perpetual futures market. Here we had 1.6 billion. So roughly 4 times the trading volume for the bets on AXS. Yes, Axie Infinity is doing very well right now, but for how much longer? Justifiably so. The market had been quite bearish on the token already. Have a look at the funding rate. So that's how much the shorts have to pay the longs, or the longs have to pay the shorts. When this is green, when we've got a positive funding rate, that's when it costs money to bet on rising prices. When this is red, it costs money to bet on falling prices. With the recent rally in the price, a lot of people get extremely bearish. It costs a lot of money to bet on falling prices of Axie Infinity. And so this here supports the thesis that that's a short squeeze. On October 10th, we saw a lot of long liquidations. So people that bet on rising prices, they lost their money. This is true for pretty much any altcoin on that day, because there was a massive mispricing event in Binance that then spilled over to all other exchanges as well. Many longs got liquidated, and so only the shorts remained. But have a look at this. Way more shorts got liquidated now with that rally than even on October 10th, where the price of Axie Infinity dropped 70% over the course of a few minutes. The trading volume is also very high, and the open interest has now very quickly risen as well. And that's an indication that some players in the market are currently artificially pushing up the price. There is strong correlation between the bets on the price, so the open interest, and the Axie Infinity price itself. When there's more bets on the price, price, the spot price tends to go up. When there's less bets on the price, the spot price tends to go down. With this current rise in open interest, we've got a lot of short-term manipulation to push out everybody that was betting on falling prices and to create somewhat of a more long-term equilibrium again. I strongly believe that because of the tokenomics, at some point this trend will prevail again. The question only is, at what point will we see the short squeeze end? And that's always the hard part. We can't really say if Axie Infinity will turn around now at $2 or if we go up another 50% and it will turn around at $3, maybe at $4. There's definitely some more potential room for the price to rally. The market cap is only at 340 million. It's relatively straightforward to manipulate an asset with only 300 million of market cap. Before the rally, it was only at 150 million roughly. Rallies like this can easily reach 1 billion, in the most extreme case even 2 billion, but for that to happen we need to get enough attention. We need to get enough people that bet on falling prices, that are very skeptical of this rally, because then the market makers will buy up even more of the supply. This is not an organic rally. This is short-term manipulation, and at some point, of course, the whales that are currently pushing up Axie Infinity will sell their tokens again. They are not long-term bullish on such an asset either, right? It's not very rational to buy and hold an asset like this. It's only rational to short-term manipulate it if enough people bet on falling prices in the first place. I'm currently not touching Axie Infinity, but I will put a reminder in my calendar in a week or two to then revisit Axie Infinity. If we start a deflation of this rally, if suddenly the attention moves again to another asset, then it might make sense to short Axie Infinity. Right now it's too popular of a position, so it's also very dangerous to bet on falling prices right now already. Unless, of course, there's a very tight stop loss. But again, the market makers also look at the stop losses, right? If you bet $100, $200, $300,000 on a position with a tight stop loss, the market makers are just going to buy up more AXS and then stop you out. So it's better just to wait for a while until things calm down and then bet on falling prices. Buying AXS, of course, is possible as well, but then again, it needs to be with a very tight stop loss, potentially a trailing stop loss. I personally don't buy assets like this. I rather bet on falling prices of assets like this, but again, I'm rather waiting right now. This is still too dangerous. If you got some value out of this video, then feel free to give this a like. It will help the channel grow. Feel free to also check out the premium membership. This is where I share my own trades. I've been able to beat buying and holding Bitcoin for the last 8 years, and I hope this will continue going forward. See you again on YouTube or see you on premium. Cheers.